welcome to the Goddess Evolution online retreat. I'm your host, Shantana Talise, and today we have a very special guest joining us, and together we will be revealing the secrets on how to channel the divine to heal your past lives and timelines. Diana, would you please introduce yourself and tell us what exactly it is that you do?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be with all of you today. And yeah, I call myself the Galactic Shaman or Soul Guide. But really what that means is just that I work with different dimensions, different realms that kind of help people to really connect to who they truly are. We all come from the source, and we also have what's called light language or source language that we can all express. So I help people to remember their true potentials, their galactic history, where they came from, but also reconnect to their true soul expression.
Wow, what got you into this work?
I've been on this journey for a very long time, since in my early 20s. Kind of started with, the traditional path of Reiki and feeling energy, and then doing all the different practices in shamanism. It was kind of part of like the big shamanic community, and then just constantly experimenting, to be honest. My curiosity brought me to different places around the world and traveling and just constantly exploring, doing energy work, and just being more of a divine channel and an instrument. And along the route, I realized like all of these modalities, they connect at the core, right? There's the shamanism, there's the psychology, there's the plant medicine work. I've done a lot of plant medicine work myself, and then started also serving some of the plant medicine, um, mushrooms and cacao. And then we remember in the process my past lives as well, where I was high priestess in Atlantis, in ancient Egypt, and as a Mayan shaman as well. And so many of us, especially at the kind of more awake timelines, remember that we've done this again and again. And it's just like another lifetime we stepping into what we already know. And so that's why some of us, it comes like more naturally, and we become the pioneer to lead everyone else towards them we remember and their potentials.
That's wow. So do you have any beings that you specifically like to channel with and work with?
So because I come from that Atlantean timeline, the being that I most connect to is Sekhmet, which is the goddess with the lion's head. And if you can see like the painting behind me, it's also connected to the Lyran system where my soul originated. So the prism of Lyra is actually where the humanoid experience has started. So if we talk about like Star Wars or the Lion Wars and how we all star seeds, right? We all came from different systems, but many of us had the soul start a point at the Lyra system, and then the Empire or the Draco system came in and conquered the system, and many of us were migrants. So this galactic saga has been going on for a long time before we even came to Earth. So some of us have still that trauma. So for me, as a lion princess, and a lot of these memories came, the beginning of how we started in Lyran system, how we were before the Dracos attacked, and I was somewhat involved in that whole game as well. And then how many of us migrated and then eventually came to Earth and to start another civilization, because this was kind of an outpost of a lot of the galactic drama, but also like trying this again here, trying again to integrate the light and the darkness that was kind of permeated through the galaxy.
Oh. So have you done a lot of channeling then with, I guess if you can do different timelines and like past lives, have you gone into the when you were in Lyra?
Yeah, for sure. And so for me, I literally go back into those points in time. So it's not so much even channeling, like I see them as pictures and movies. And so in different ceremonies that I've been at or facilitated for others, I go into that avatar body. So she's very tall. She's about 9 feet, and she has kind of like blondish hair, very feline features, so it's very hybrid, and long nails. So a lot of even so interesting the features that we have in our body correlate in some ways to where we came from. Like I can, for instance, Arcturians, like I can tell if they're Arcturians based on some of their human features. So there's certain frequency we carry. It's all part of our soul signature. So if you can think about the soul is like the software, right? And then we have the hardware. In some ways we choose a certain hardware too, like the soul contracts we have and how our software can run more optimally in certain hardware. So yeah, so this software has collected a lot of information quantumly through space and time, and then it manifests. So yeah, so she's very tall and she's very flexible, and she had a tail and a lot of connection to the planet. So like I remember the planet, a lot of waterfalls is called Avion, and it's a lot of waterfalls, very lush, a lot of moss. In some ways, like in the movie Avatar, right? So, like if you think about James Cameron, like where did he pull this beautiful images from? That comes from his dreams, from his ceremonies. So what he channeled were another race in the Lyra system, which are called the Vegans. They were more blue skinned. Our um, planets had a little different type of beings, but in some ways similar, more brown skinned. So if you can think of lions kind of hybridized with the human, like the Galadriel, somewhere in between. There is that the Larian beings. So yeah, so I very much connect to Larians, and memories like this so fresh. They kind of like it happened yesterday. So, and that's available. And that's when, the story started. Some of the souls, traveled to other systems, like I said, because of the migration. So a soul could have started in Lyran system, then moved to Sirius and incarnated as, for instance, oceanic being. Like some of the past life regressions I've done, people were telling me stories how, for instance, as a Aquarian being was like underwater 98% of the time, and maybe during the moon cycle would come out. So imagine living as a humanoid being, consciously in the communities, sleep in a certain way. So that's the Syrians, some of the Arcturians, some more plasmatic. You Victorian, I could
No,
tell. Yeah.
I'm Syrian.
You Syrian. Oh, okay. You really point. Yeah, Syrian. Do you remember which, because Sirius had Sirius A, B, C. Do you know which?
I did at one point, but I haven't really channeled with them much. So
Mm,
I don't remember. I think it was B, but I could be
mm.
wrong.
Yeah, so the B system had more of that oceanic beings that I mentioned. Yeah, so the dolphins and the whales in our oceans, they all Syrian beings. Yeah, they're all from Sirius B actually. So as they sing the songs to the oceans, that's their frequency. That's they I would say earth grid workers as well. Through the songs, they elevate the frequency of Mother Earth, of Gaia. Yeah, it's beautiful. That's why they bring such, like, when we watch a whale and a dolphin, it's like this beautiful resonance in the heart because we connect to that frequency.
Well, I was
But
Sam Fish.
but in every system, you have to understand not everyone was light. So there are also darker beings. The Draco system was more about service to self versus like the Lawrence was service to others. So there's always that play within this galaxy and within this construct of universe that's here. It's all duality games. So there's polarization constantly. And so some of our incarnations were not always positive. Some of us chose to have darker incarnations to experience on the soul level what it means to be a dark being. And they all valid. So the name of the game in this earthly reality right now in this school is for us to integrate the light and the dark. And we're really void beings. So we somewhere in between. And it's kind of like I think of a triangle. You have the light, the dark, and the apex point is the integration. So the integration is the key to move forward in the ascension cycle. It's the key to move forward in our evolution. And we hear again, because our DNA has like 25 different genome encodements of all these star seeds. So our technology, this body is fascinating, right? And we're here to reawaken our DNA, to re-remember and bring it to the apex, to the integration. So, but yes, it's fun to connect to your avatar self. All of us have our initial avatars, and when you connect, it gives you this perspective. You're like, whoa, like my earthly reality is so different, right? Than how in the forum I was somewhere else. Not every time we had a forum. Sometimes we were just etheric beings too, and just frequency.
So when you talk about the war on Lyra and with the Draco beings, does that mean like if everything's like light and dark, they came here too? Like they integrated into Earth too and are
Absolutely. There, so all of the, if you think about all the agendas that are happening on Earth right now, and there are obviously so many right now, so many of them, in some ways facilitated by Dracos. Not to say that all the Dracos are bad. Like I said, there's always groups and castes within the system. There were the Dracos that actually initiated the Lyran Wars. Those were what called the Lizzies. So they're like the middle caste. They were the warrior caste. They were the ones hungry for power and domination. But there were also dragon beings. The dragon beings were very neutral and very protective, and the guardians, as you know, dragons are beautiful. They like the guardians of the realms, and there's different dragons. There's the frequency dragons, like rainbow dragons, the moon spirits. There's dragons that just sleep in right now in the caves and they're waiting to be awakened when it's their time. The dragons, the ones were on Earth. For instance, I was in Iceland. I found this massive petrified dragons on the beach. They were once on Earth, but were petrified. So dragons always were present here, but they never really played a role in the wars so much. They tried to keep more neutrality and played more of kind of the guardian role. And even the dinosaurs, some think those were like the initial Draco seedlings. Um, so, but the Dracos and like I said, within that system, the Dracos, there's also the Orion negative forces. There's different negative forces within each system. They're the ones who are hungry for power. They're the ones who are trying to dominate right now and push and pull constantly all these polarization games in the government. Everything we've seen right now is all facilitated by this more negative alien agenda, so whatever we want to call it, but they're not necessarily of the light, and they're interested in loosen us, which means like taking and harvesting our energy for themselves. And so for us, it's important to stay in unified consciousness, in more sovereign state, and really from that place, we not no longer given permission to be loosed or harvested. And that even happens in dream time in the astral. So, when you have these like chronic bad dreams, or, that's being attacked by some of these beings, even astrally. Yeah. So it happens all, there's so many things right now that are trying to get at us. But for us, the key is not to focus on that, but strengthen our remembrance, strengthen our sovereignty, our geometry, our power, and focus on, yeah, really rooted here on Earth, because that's why we came here, right? We volunteered to be here to be these beautiful divine conduits for the light.
oh, 100%. Wow. I really love like that you when you mentioned like dragons and stuff, just because like I actually do see rainbow dragon energy around you. Like it's like, oh, I can see that coming through really strong.
Yeah, I mean, and everyone has it. Like you have a dragon around your field as well. You just need to connect to your dragon.
Mhm.
So just like even in this moment, you can feel them. Like you usually at least have one, but even sometimes two, either on the right and the left. And then and a lot of it is through imagination, right? So you can just feel this presence. Is it a dragon? Is it a guide? And connect it and see it in colors. Like what color might it be? So mine is she's like purple pink. And then and because I can channel, so I also channel the language. So I connect to the frequency and you can channel the language. So that's the beauty of just connecting to the frequency and being with the frequency, and then seeing like what does it want to say. Is there some sort of words. And sometimes the words don't necessarily mean anything, but we don't focus in on the meaning so much because it's quantum language. It's a frequency language. It's more about, the feeling of it. So like if I were to connect to my dragon and listen to what she has to say, so she'd be like saying, "Hua hi hua ning ha hui ihumu ya uhundu hi ha hi hu tu tu hi dash ti han tu hua ha hi hua." So that's my dragon. She's just wanted to say something. How did you feel, right? What was your resonance to that?
It's very I feel like it's like it's I feel like it's kind of similar to Japanese. And I think there's a lot of dragons that even originate from that area. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
Possibly, yeah. I mean, we try and on a logical level, we're trying to feel into the language itself, but it's not so much even the language, it's the frequency. Like, where is it in the body? Like the dragons often activate the throat, they activate the solar plexus. So it's more kind of going by the frequency and activation itself. So where is it, felt in the body so much? Not so much about what the origin of the language is, because they all mesh together. It's more like, and that's why usually when I do transmissions, I ask people to close their eyes and just feel it. And sometimes people have colors, sometimes they feel tingles or cold, hot. There's different psychic um feelings that come up, and it's very individual for each person.
so depending on the beings that you're channeling with, do you speak different frequencies, like different light language codes?
For sure, for sure. So if I were to tune to like lyran frequency, lyran frequency is very melodic. So it's very kind of like larut tu starati kianu tu aniatiata, shturutu maya ti shturunu maya rata. So it's very about the heart. It's very melodic. It's beautiful. And then I'll give you like Draco, for instance. And the Draco is like the opposite of the Lyran because it kind of reminds me of Star Trek. I don't know if you watch Star Trek, Klingon language. It's very harsh and it's very throat oriented. When I started channeling, it was like kind of like for my human body hard to like get used to the throat being so pushed in a way that's uncomfortable, but you'll see why, because the codes are very kind of harsh. So it's like my throat has to be like pulled all the time, but they're very like guttural, and they do really amazing in clearing the throat and activating this whole area, and like so we can feel more into that, but you can see the difference, right? Like the
Mhm.
Pleiadian language is also like Lyran, because Pleiadians actually, the Lyrans were ancestors of the Pleiadians. When the Lyrans basically were chased out of their system by the Dracos, they got into ships, and the Pleiadian system was really far away, so that was their way of getting as far away as possible from the Dracos. And by the time they made it to Palladian system, it was like a couple of generations. But they, they remembered the ancestors in the beginning. They didn't want to remember the traumas of it, and then eventually they also integrated. But the language is also all about the heart and the feelings. So it's like via vuatia navi nunovi taratia vavu titrativuva, and it's like almost singing. Uchuratiani bavu nanaviva. It's very heart oriented. It's very about, being in the heart as well, which similar to the Lyrans, because they knew that the heart was the portal to the universe, to divinity, to the source of everything that we are. And so if we activate the heart, then our whole system is activated.
See, I do light language as well, and but it's not quite like where you can tell, like it's very different when you channel with dragons and bring through their light language versus each star system. Like mine kind of sounds the same. I just tune into their energies and I'm bringing through those frequencies, or they'll step up and be like this, but mine still sounds very similar. Like my tone will change,
Mm.
especially with fairies. It's like very, very
Yeah,
interesting.
fairies are fun. And then there's galactic fairies and elemental fairies. So if you go to the forest, the elemental fairies have certain language, And then I love the galactic ones because it's like almost like these rainbow dragons, the galactics. They're here to like also bring that joy and fun. So you can call them at any point. So and they like bring always this playful energy and joyful energy. So they like just so much fun. And it's like reminds you of your innocence, of your playfulness. And honestly, the quantum language um, is all about coming back to that innocence. Like we were born, we were just perfect angelic beings. We were connected to the source. All these languages, and this symphony of languages is part of who we are because we're part of this hologram of oneness. And so in order for us to tap back into it, we have to drop back into that innocent and playfulness and connect and just, and be curious and tap into these frequencies. And even like you said, even if it's the same, it sounds the same, but your tone changes, that's enough too, because that's your way of bringing that frequency because you're still focused on it. I've just been expanding because I've been doing this for like 6 years. I've just been expanding and learning. I remember I think it was Lightstar, one of these people I listened on YouTube years ago, and I was like, oh my God, she can channel all these different languages. It's amazing. She must be like the ambassador of the galaxy. And then over time, even though I started with Lyran and Draco, because those were my initial birth languages, I would say. Because, Lyran is because I was in the system, Dracos is because I was married into the Draco Alliance. So it was like my two first languages. But then I realized we actually can, as beings that have 25 genomes of the whole galaxy, we can tap into all these frequencies. Nothing really stops us. And it's just like tuning our antenna to that.
I love that. So before you mentioned Galactic Akasha, like Akashic
Hmm.
record.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the difference between that versus like our Akashic records?
So yeah, I mean, galactic versus the regular Akasha is just that Akasha is a general term, means it's like library of information, right? So all information of the soul is stored in these like etheric libraries, so to speak. So again, quantumly, we always connected and entangled to all the aspects of ourselves, right? So this little us here as human also connected to aspects of us in cosmic plane and astral plane and ultimately to our higher self, an oversoul, which is like, a console of its own. So galactic just means like what I'm tapping into, like re-remembering the galactic stories, the galactic dramas that happen, and just like more looking into that cosmic plane of existence versus that Kasha on Earth, for instance, is like perhaps the lifetimes that we lived on Earth. And Earth itself has a Kasha too, like records of what happened to Earth and they also in the present and the future, there's so many potentialities in the field too, like we're in this quantum soup of information and superpositions. So the right now, for instance, even through Lionsgate, we've been jumping through many timelines and we constantly get to choose which timeline we want to be on. So the more of us give our intention and intention to a specific highest timeline or most expanded timeline, that's the one that's going to have quantumly the strongest standing wave, and that's the one that's going to win. But at the same time, there's always, like I mentioned, negative forces, so to speak, that in politics, in other organizational systems that are present right now in this 3D matrix that are pulling at us because they want their timelines to win too. And these are also galactic timelines. So all this super information is about, so a galactic akasha is just ability to go kind of a little bit beyond this astral and really go to that cosmic plane and see kind of what's playing out there and tracing that. And it's fascinating when I do quantum healing hypnosis on different clients that come to me, they often go galactic. So the galactic akasha kind of opens up on its own, and whether it's a Arcturian that's traveling on different ships across the galaxies, or it's the founding fathers, the Lyran founding fathers that came to the Lyran system to start this whole experiment of consciousness. We all kind of replaying in this universal construct. We're replaying what has happened already in a different universe. So there's this, yeah, as you know, seedings and universal games that are being played. So we just happen to be right now on Earth, which is the center stage. most most fun most fun show is happening on Earth right now because everyone is interested in where it's going to go next. Because this is the only stage where we're trying to move the planet or the realm, mother, with the beings on it at the same time. That's never really happened before. It's usually some sort of extinction event, and then the planet, the realm moves into its next dimension. But this is, I think, sixth or seventh attempt to do it with all of us together. So we'll see if that happens. But the highest timeline is that we've done it already.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm totally game for the highest time.
From what I've seen, we have succeeded. So, and now we just playing it out, right? The movie has been shot, but then again, it's constantly changing. So it's the choices that we make along the route.
I feel like we're headed in a really good direction, like the majority. And, there's so much shifting. But it's funny because I actually have definitely heard that so many times where it's just like it's already happened. It's just the movie's got to finish playing out.
For sure. And we just have to fulfill our roles. So each one of us that came here and volunteered and done it, in many lifetimes, we've played different roles. And sometimes roles are shifting too, right? Whatever is needed in that cycle. And so we just started a new cycle. We really like with this Lionsgate just closing right now. Like I kept on hearing 12,000 years. So I think that Atlantean timeline 12,000 years ago is when, Atlantis was the golden age and then it started kind of descending down and got corrupt. So here we are, we have another chance to resurrect the Atlantis. It's not the same Atlantis, of course, but it's that golden age. And we have all the supporters, we have the galactic support, we have the frequencies and all this, bombardment of solar flares that we have in these days. Those are actually meant to activate us and activate our DNA, which is, the sun or soul is an angel, actually, 12-dimensional angel that is here to support all that light. And because we are light, we're quantum light, everything is light. And how much more light can we hold in our vehicles, in our geometry, will really show how successful we are. The more light we can hold collectively, not just personally, then everything is shifting. The vibrational bandwidth we can be at is going to be different. But we'll see. It's like I said, it's a personal journey, but it's also very much a collective one.
Great. So can you share with the audience how they can work with you?
Yes, of course. So my website is loveripple.org. I offer different modalities. So one of them I mentioned is QHHT, which is like Dolores Cannon quantum healing hypnosis, which is the one that takes you through hypnosis to past lives and galactic lives. And then there's most interesting part of it is where there's a conversation with the higher self or the subconscious self. So that's one of the modalities I offer. I also very popular modality right now that I'm doing on many is called crystalline soul healing. So it's a Lyran template actually that was given by Aeon Council of Time, which is a Lyran council to Jamie Price, and I got initiated with it. But it's essentially like a template that I run on someone to completely clear the multidimensional cords and any hooks they might have right now, because that's happened to many, like where there's different hooks and shadows and things like that. So it clears and recalibrates the instrument. And then I also, at the same time as I run that, I channel light language real time. So the whole idea is full recalibration, because I feel like we're all perfect, but we need that retuning of the instrument, because if the instrument is out of tune, it's not playing the music as well as it could. So that's another one, crystalline soul healing. I'm also helping people to activate the light language. And so there's a course that is available through Source Language Institute, which is sourcelanguage.org, where anyone can take and just self-paced course to with my dear friend Mary and Amel Grace. We create this course. But I also do one-on-ones. Like if someone just like I'm there, I've taken courses, but I want that, one-on-one connection and activate. And sometimes someone needs to hold space or start the activation process. And I believe everyone has to activate the light language at this point. If it's close enough but not there, like it's your divine right. And the light language helps so much right now with everything happening because you can recalibrate yourself real time, as you know, and kind of use it on yourself, use it on your friends. It's very deep tool because it's quantum, it's multidimensional, there's frequency to it. And I do workshops in New Jersey, New York with Kundalini activation and light language. So we're able to move energy real time. It's incredible to see in the workshop group environments where, you start activating the field, you're recalibrating people and their geometries, and then you can be standing in one corner of the room and then channeling light language and the person starts getting activated or energy moves out and, you purge it and burp it out. All the galactic shaman work is, clear and clear and clear. And so for me, it's almost like first you got to clear and then you can activate. Then there's space for that. So yeah, so all of that is on my website, loveripple.org. And yeah, and anything else. Like I feel sometimes people come to me for various things. Like it's very customized approach, depending when they're on the journey. Some people just starting off versus like someone like you already kind of doing, but the light language, but then something might be off in their field or they need support with remember their past lives or whatever else feels necessary. Because ultimately we want to be aligned and awakened and in a full potential.
I love that. Thank you. Can you share with the audience your free gift?
Yeah, so the free gift is you get to do 30-minute free session with me, consultation session, and get a flavor of some of my work and in real time, like just some guidance, because I'm also here to gi- give orientation, because I think we all headed to different directions, but sometimes we get stuck or lost. So I'm all about giving orientation and to the light. So however that looks like from kind of where I'm sitting at from my higher galactic akashic perspective, and it comes real time because I kind of see timelines and streams. It's nice to be able to help people wherever they are in their journey.
Thank you. That's amazing. You guys make sure you click that link down below and claim that amazing free gift. Would you mind ending us off with a healing or a message, whatever you feel called to do?
Sure. Let's do a little more light language. So invite everyone to close their eyes and take a deep breath into your heart space and exhale out. And imagine you have a tunnel of light underneath your feet. And you see this tunnel going all the way deep down through the rocks, through the soil, all the way to the core of the Mother Earth. And you see yourself deeply, deeply rooted to the core. And feeling that connection to Mother Earth. Remembering that you volunteer to be here at this time, to shine your light, to be that beautiful divine instrument that you are. And just feel here you can rest your roots and connect to the Mother, feeling her love and support. Shtuanya tiano tukuana tiashi, tumbuaya kiano shununuaya ta, iraturu tumaya tiasha, naya tukushi niatara ni mumania shiatu. And seeing how the mother is giving you a big hug as you are her child, And she has a special gift for you. Turti maya tustunyati, lali lali sutumba kikaya tumua. And she's giving you this gift, whether it's an object or a message. Just take a deep breath and connect to that beautiful gift that she just presented for you. Kumbai, Sanyata, Yakumbai, Shatia, Nusununuai. Breathing into the heart space. Churutumbaji, Kiatuaya, Tiasa. Remember that you are a divine, beautiful being. Turutumba, always connected to the mother. Churutua yata, and always connected to your galactic family, to the angelic family, all the supporters that are here with you as well. Shtumba yatiatu, anatiasu, makiara nira. And these times when you need integration, turutumaya tushtuati, and deep, deep grounded, go all the way to the plasma of the mother, kushta, to the core, uruma, 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 churuma, and release, release, release what's not serving you any longer. Urutushtarita mutushimai satia kuatia. So you can step into the new version, the highest version, the true potential of who you are. Arakushta. So you can speak your truth. Kua, 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 from the heart. Ijumuani asutu mayana isha kuatia vayama. Isha ima eta sumbuetia. You are loved, you supported. Muatiasha. Taking a deep breath into every cell of your being. In a golden light, radiating, integrating, re-remembering. Your DNA codes activating to receive, to be. Muatia, Shura, Shuka, Tiamwa. Thank you, thank you.